It is Sunday, November 20th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Sunday puzzle today, so we have a big Sunday grid, and it seems from a glance at the Daily Solve Discord chat server, this is a particularly entertaining Sunday puzzle, so that's very nice. People are very courteous about spoilers on the Discord, so I have not been spoiled. I don't know what it was people enjoyed, but I'm excited to solve it after that. So this highly anticipated edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Bradley Pirtle, Alex. I think I read them yesterday. Well, they can get another mention because why not? They're patrons of the campaign. But also David Ennis, Josh Lucas, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster, the invaluable Timothy Mark, and the indomitable Showmaster. So thank you so much to the 7 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support in sustaining this channel. And if you'd like to become one of them, a benefactor, and get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug, you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve or in a link in the description field underneath the video. And if you become a patron of any level, of any type, you can get all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. And thank you to everybody who has done so at any time for any amount. I do very much appreciate it. It really does keep this channel going. So thank you to everybody who's participated in that. And do join the Daily Solve Discord chat server as well. There's a link in the description field. I mentioned that a moment ago. And and regarding the Patreon campaign, so I think the monthly bonus puzzle will be going up today. It'll be going up today or tomorrow, the New York Times monthly bonus puzzle. I set it to auto post and I forget, but I wanted to space it out a bit because the Friday speed solve mini crossword video only went up yesterday because I didn't have enough time on Friday. So anyway, that's all going up, and I'll try and find some time to do the acrostic this week as well. Okay, so there's that. And do subscribe to the channel, tell a friend, etc. Let's get on to the puzzle, entitled Fan Club. This is a Sunday puzzle, so the one day a week we have a named puzzle. It was constructed by Joe Dini, who, oh boy, I think has constructed around a dozen puzzles. I forgot to have that information handy. And it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's start solving and see what kind of theme is connected to the idea of a fan club. Tot's rocker is a horse, a rocking horse, maybe? Not sure about that, so we'll check the crosses. Maybe so, yeah. Go no further. Halt. Stop. High wind. An oboe, a high wind instrument. And to go on and on about is to rant about. I guess it could be rave as well, rant and rave, but I think rant is more likely. Maybe not. Because to abound with would be to team with, to be full of something, or overrun by it. Okay, so maybe it is rave after all. To die down is to abate. The noise will abate. And parts of flutes and flowers are stems. A flute and a flower could each have a stem. And still, Ian, I suppose? A poetic contraction of even. That's still true. It's true still. It's true even now. I think that's... Saying it aloud makes me less confident about it. It's still true. It's Ian true. It's not quite the same, is it? Well, what could I have done wrong? Abate is certainly correct. Horsey? Yet, still. That's not still true. It's not yet true. Okay, I used that poorly, but it's still true. It's yet true. That's much closer. So I would have ordinarily spelled horsey with an E, I think, but that's probably correct. What about this one? Geometrophiles. So someone who loves geometry, I suppose, and fan club. Love, oh, I see. Oh, I see. We're going to be continuing the phrase. So we'll be saying geometrophiles love the square or something. This will presumably be a phrase. I can't think of what phrase would fit this. I bet it has the in it, though. What about the down? Zoom. Hurry or haste or high or... I'm not sure. It's a bad look. Some kind of leer or ogle, I imagine. Palaver would be a sort of, I don't know, it could be nonsense or it could just be sort of, like chat. I guess it could be chat. Gets lost. Scrams. So that could be chat. What about this? It's a bad look. Well, let's try it and just see. Eventual outlet for Lake Victoria. Eventual outlet for Lake Victoria. I wonder if it's a river, like, I don't know, the Ohio River or something like that. I have no idea if that's geographically accurate. It doesn't look very convincing in there, but I'm just trying to think what kind of answer this might be. Kylo Ren is a character from the recent Star Wars films. Red state, anger. If you're red, you could be red in a state of anger, red with anger. Milli Vanilli was a 1980s to 1990s R&B dude. Boy, I haven't heard about Milli Vanilli in a long time. Oh, the Lake Victoria. For some reason, I don't know. I read Lake Victoria, but in my head, I was thinking, I don't know what I was thinking, Lake Ontario or Lake Superior or something. I wasn't actually reading the information, so I was thinking of one of the Great Lakes in North America. That was a strange thing that my brain just did right now. Yeah, weird. Maybe it's because we had that Lake Superior clue in the puzzle the other day. In any case, wrong continent. So there we go. Eventual outlet for Lake Victoria is the Nile. Okay, I was on the right track, I guess, thinking of a river. Sordid is something. CDO, love the angles. What does that mean? Does love the angles mean something? Outside of the context of this clue, I mean. I'm trying to love the angles. Don't know. We might have to solve some more of these, and maybe that will fill me in. But we see basically what the theme is doing. We are continuing essentially a description of a certain kind of fan of something. So a fan of geometry, geometrophile, loves the angles. There we go. Okay, it's a bad look. A stern eye or something? I'm not crazy about that. Member of a colony, an ant colony, member of a colony. It's a bad look. Boy, I'm just not seeing this one. What about this? Zoom. Sad sack maybe here? Oh, stink eye. Oh, love triangles. Right, I was completely wrong putting that. Why did I put the in there so early? That was incredibly presumptuous. Shouldn't have done that. Sorry. I'm sure many of you were yelling at me through the screen about that one. A bit of a silly mistake. So yes, geometrophiles love triangles. That makes sense. And of course, love triangles is a common phrase. There we go. I'm making some strange mistakes today. Zoom. Rack, is it a rack zoom in film? Doesn't really seem right because rack and zoom aren't really the same thing, are they? Race. Once again, overlooking the most obvious possible synonym. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, it's a bad look as a stink eye. And actress Witherspoon is Reese Witherspoon. So there we go. There's something straightforward. Pummel as with snowballs. You could pelt somebody with snowballs. And sunny side up suns are the yolks of eggs. I do love a nice runny yolk. Oh, here we have, so ... .. is SOS in Morse code, which, as we know, stands for nothing. It doesn't actually stand for save our ship or save our souls or anything like that. It was just designed as an easy thing to sign and to understand. Okay, Crazy Cat was a classic American comic strip, and sarcastic response to a complaint. Sue me, maybe? I think that's pretty plausible. Ready for a drive. You could be teed up for a golf drive, I guess. And brings up is going to have an S at the end, I would think. Raises, raises could be true literally or metaphorically, but let's keep looking. Extra something, an add-on? What might accompany a wink? A wink and a nod, or what? A wink. What about this? Longtime NASCAR sponsor. Oh, it's an oil, a sort of motor oil brand, STP? I think that might be the answer. What about this? In stitches, sewn. If an article of clothing could be literally in stitches because it's been sewn. That was unexpected. Wow, you might say. Oh, Imagiphiles print or something, or sorted. Sleazy, a sordid deal, a sleazy deal. Oh, prize quality Imagiphiles. Prize. What do they prize? They prize artistry or images or resolution or what? What do they prize? I'm not seeing it. Lauder of beauty products, Estee Lauder, of the company of the same name. And you wanted to see me. Yes. Passports, e.g. and brief, could be IDs, identifications. So Imagiphiles prize drawings. Right, there we go. They prize drawing. They prize the art and craft of drawing. And, of course, in this case, they prize, well, in this case, we're referring to the drawing of a prize in a competition or something like that. This is a random selection of a prize. So secure as a skiff as you could moor a skiff to a pier, sort of boat. And rapture is elation. You were consumed with rapture, with elation. A little off. Joan of Arc, for one, was a martyr. There we go. And posers are something with an S. Monopoly properties that don't get hotels for short are railroads, I suppose. Sandwich that may include salami, prosciutto, and soppressata. An Italian, I was going to say Italian sub, but an Italian what? I don't know, Italian roll? Stockings are what? And baseball coach Popovich. Looks like Greg. That's kind of vaguely familiar. Put down in writing, to log something in writing. A little off. On sale, right. So the price has been reduced slightly. And the question mark indicates a bit of punnery or wordplay. So we're using this in a punny way. Squeeze as a mop is to wring out a mop. And stockings are nylons. Posers are wannabes. There we go. Cabaret accessories are boas. And what about this? Gastrophiles. Well, they love food, gastronomy, restaurants. There we go. What is this? Gastrophiles. What is a phrase that involves restaurants whose first word is also a noun that means to enjoy or to appreciate or to love? I'm not sure. Let's keep looking. Private affairs, question mark. So it could be maybe a private as rank in the military for the punniness. Army something. Something you sleep through, a dream. You sleep through a dream by definition. Old, the beer of quality sloganeer in brief. I'm not sure. What about this? Things Acrobat Reader reads. So Adobe Acrobat reads PDFs, portable PDF for portable document format, I believe. And hill by a loch could be a bray. So here we're using sort of Scottish terminology. And oh, PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon. There we go. Oh, fancy restaurants. That's very good. Gastrophiles, fancy restaurants. That's great. This is a very clever theme. I really appreciate this. I'm glad I got past my ridiculous love the angles thing there. which sort of weirdly worked just for the theme, but obviously made no sense. But these are all quite good. Seasons of Love musical. It must be Rent. I've actually seen Rent years and years and years ago, but I don't remember the specific songs, but I bet that's one of them. Close Out is something, and Seeks Attention in a way is Acts Up, maybe? No, Acts Out. Seeks Attention, Acts Out. There we go. Close Out is Settle a Bill, perhaps. So Private Affairs are Army somethings. And Habitat Threatened by Bleaching is a coral reef. The coral bleaching is definitely a big threat. Long campaigns are sieges. So, oops. In a military context, or I suppose used metaphorically. Organization that partners with Lyft and Uber to promote safe ride sharing. Like, I wasn't aware of this, but I presume it to be MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And brings up children, for instance, rears children, and what might accompany a wink? Oh, a nudge and a wink. You give someone a nudge and a wink. Again, either literally or metaphorically, I suppose. Okay, so what about this? Bloke is a fellow or a pal or a chap, maybe? Chap and bloke would both be sort of British English, or at least more common in British English, so that could be it. Come after... not sure, actually. What about this? Novosibirsk negative. Oh, well, this will be niet. So maybe that's not. Maybe I was wrong about that. So niet for no in Russian. And then bloke is what? Singer born, Ethni Padragin ni Bryonain. I'm sure I butchered that beyond all possible, what was previously thought possible in terms of horrible pronunciation of the Irish language. But Enya is surely the answer. Very sorry about that. I just saw the film The Banshees of Inisherin in the cinema the other day, which was set in Ireland, and it was very good. I'm only bringing that up because I'm sure there were the occasional word or name stated that would have been more traditionally Irish that I would not be able to reproduce, as I was not in this case. Okay, to come after. Why do I still not see this? Ensue? Right, so this doesn't have an E at the end. Oh, Army Life, Private Affairs, Army Life. I need to be really careful. Take my failure today as a lesson. Don't write individual bits in unless you're very confident about that, or unless you're going to try them just in the moment and then discard them. So putting an S at the end of a plural, or put the in because it just seemed like the most likely thing. Really good to put that in and try it out. But then if you don't come to any kind of conclusion, maybe just delete it because it can come back and haunt you later, as it did here. Okay, bloke is a gent. There we go. That's what it is. And dextropodophiles get off on the on the right foot. Right, as in sort of dextra versus sinistra, so the kind of roots for right and left. And then pod meaning a sort of, like a foot from, is that Latin or Greek? I'm actually not even sure. But is it get off on the right foot? Okay, so this isn't add on, it's add in. So dextropodophiles get off on the right foot. That's really good. Is that what that is? Am I reading this correctly? I'm not sure, but I think that's the answer. Okay, so word repeated in a classic Energizer slogan. Oh, the Energizer bunny keeps going and going. I remember those. I wonder if they still do those. Finish by is end at a given time. The NBA's Curry to fans is Steph Curry, the basketball player. I've certainly heard of him, and when I lived in San Francisco, heard a lot more about him. Nugget from a noggin is an idea, and can't tolerate is hates. Come out of La La Land with a jolt is to snap to sort of awake suddenly. Or maybe not awake, but to come out of a daze. Okay, autotumulophiles dig autotumulophiles dig their own grave? That must this the auto self, obviously. This must refer to grave digging. Wow, dig their own grave. What an amazing word. Okay. So cooking staple is oil. This is a great puzzle. Obedience school command is sit. You could say to a dog. And announcement of a split decision is something. Symbol of laziness is the sloth, maybe the animal. Word with trip or test. I'm not sure. Baseball Hall of Famer Mel Ott. Oh, right. Mel Ott used to come up in the crossword from time to time. I haven't seen that name as often recently, but there we go. That is a bit of what I would consider sort of crosswordese in the sense that it is Mel Ott disproportionately appears, I would say, in the crossword. Okay, shelves for knickknacks are what? And even slightly is at all. If it happens even slightly, if it happens at all. Word with trip or test, road trip or road test. There we go. And shelves for knickknacks are, still not seeing it. Is this dig their own graves? Is there another way to say this? Axed is hewn, as in a tree. Sinister smiles are sneers, and to whom it is said, you have a grand gift for silence. It makes you quite invaluable as a companion. I don't know. To whom? Watson, maybe. Sounds like this sort of thing Sherlock Holmes might have said to Watson. Let's check the crosses. Fall behind the pack is to straggle, so a straggler falls behind. And a New York university that hosted presidential debates in 2008, 2012, and 2016. I don't know. I wonder if I have something wrong. This doesn't look... Oh, Hofstra, maybe? Yeah, that looks plausible. Let's check the crosses. Rightmost menu heading, often. I don't think I actually know this university, to be honest with you, but it's just... Hofstra is a name. So I'm kind of going out on a slight limb there, but let's see. Rightmost menu heading. Oh, it's off in the help menu. And ish is sorta, I guess. It's true-ish. It's true sorta. Oh, an Italian hero. Okay. I don't ever think I've heard this used in this specific context. I mean, hero sandwiches I'm certainly familiar with. You always hear people say Italian sub, but maybe Italian hero is a way it's phrased. I'm sure it is. Okay, choral voice is an alto, one of the higher singing ranges. And the eagle has landed was said of the moon landing, and then minor disagreement is a spat, just a little fight, a bit of a spat. Okay, sub-Saharan pests are tsetse flies. There we go. I don't know that I've seen that clued with the flies in it before. I mean, I've seen tsetse or tsetses, but there we go. Okay, cooking staple. Oh, right, and we just had cooking staple was oil somewhere. Yeah, here it was. And then another cooking staple is salt. Yeah, that's true. Salt and oil. Cooking staples. Oh, and a cooking place where those might go is an oven. Fit snugly is to nest into something else, and high winds are gales. There we go. Inside the NBA channel is TNT. Sure, fair enough. And bird feeder fat is suet. Yeah, so suet is animal fat. And then announcement of a split decision. And card game shout is Uno. Preacher's preaching is a sermon, probably. Yeah, there we go. Sort of preacher would preach. Actress Rollins. Oh, I'm not sure. Cena? There's something else this could be? Homily? Don't know. Is Gina Rollins kind of sounds familiar. Is that someone? Announcement of a split decision. We'll come back to this. PC component, maybe a CPU, a central processing unit. Let's look down. X and rings. Peals? Rings of a bell? Peals of a bell? 2005 Scott Westerfield sci-fi novel with the sequel Pretties. I have no idea. Don't think I've even heard of this author. Let's keep looking. the Mod Squad role. Okay, so that was a TV show. I'm not sure. Painter's primer, gesso maybe? Coat of paint. Let's look at the crosses and see. Orophiles, they go for the something around sound, or is that what we're looking for? Aura. I mean, aura is also gold, so AU is gold, as in chemically. Oh, go for the gold. That's what it is. Okay, great. So orophiles go for the gold. Very good. This is an incredibly clever puzzle. I really like this. X O Chi. Right, the Greek letter. There we go. And Uganda? I don't know. I have no idea what this novel is. Okay, like some whiskey barrels are oaken or oaken. I guess the barrels themselves are oaken, and maybe the whiskey is oaked by virtue of being in them. But let's check this N. Schnauzes are noses, or what? Snouts? There we go. To not be straight with someone is to lie to them, and a commander's second in command, usually. Lieutenant? No, that's not even how you'd spell it. There we go. I don't know. Take care of business is to see to it, maybe. Oh, interesting. This does have an O there. What about this? Came down, alit. Well, that was in the puzzle yesterday, I think. So, as in landed. So, plane alit. It came down, it landed. And blank rule, true crime writer, not sure. Shelves for knickknacks are, still don't know. What's it? Is that something? Never heard of that before as the name for a shelf. I wonder if that's what this is. Okay, that's not going to help me there. The ties that bind, that's a phrase. Maybe that's what this is. Wow. I'm completely unfamiliar with that terminology. Yeah, okay, I don't know this either. Oh, this is tough. The Mod Squad role and true crime writer. These are two proper nouns. Oh, duh, how am I going to disambiguate those? Yeesh. Hopefully it's obvious based on this. I mean, if it were, I don't know, I can't think of a good example that would work with both of these. Anyway, chronomechanophiles, like, I mean, that looks like watches or clocks or something. Maybe this is Lou? No, that doesn't look right. I wonder if I have something going on. See to it, snouts. I don't know. Those seem good. With the sequel pretties. uglies with the sequel pretties. Okay, fair enough. There we go. And game with Chestas and a Pelota. I was going to say highlight maybe, but oh, it is highlight. Right. I was just misremembering how it was spelled. There we go. Okay. Yes, that's what I thought. Okay. That is in fact how you spell this. And then and there's a space between the first I and the first A. Okay, now it's one of a split decision. What is it? I don't know. What about this? Home to many constables and sergeants. Oh, and these are capitalized. So you would think this is maybe referring to a police constable. And maybe a police sergeant. But sergeant is not spelled in the manner of the rank. And also, they are capitalized. They're referring to names, the artists, constable, and sergeants. So this will be a museum, presumably. The Tate. Could be the Tate Britain, maybe. No, because that's all British artists, I believe. So that wouldn't apply here. So maybe it's the Tate Modern, here in London, in fact. Well, both the Tate Britain and the Tate Modern are here in London, but the Tate Modern has quickly become the more famous, despite being the newer museum. Anyway, that must be the case. Okay, so there we go. What about this? Announcement of a split decision. Why can't I see what this is? Oh, a Dear John letter. Right. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a clever clue. So a split decision. So Dear John letter, these were sort of, I think, most commonly associated with, with women who were left behind by men serving in war. I want to say World War II is when this was most. I don't know. Maybe it was the First World War, but I think World War II is when you hear about these the most. Might have been the First World War. I'm not sure. In any case, they would write a letter saying, I can't wait any longer. I've found someone else, etc. And they were called Dear John letters. They would start Dear John or whatever, obviously. Okay. Actress Rollins, right? So it does look like Gina Rollins, doesn't it? And Preacher's Preaching is, I'm still not seeing it, so I'm going to delete it. Certain fluency building subject could be ESL, English as a second language. And tap is a spigot, a water spigot, a water tap. Classic muscle car is a GTO. And actress Caitlin of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh, Caitlin Olsen from, that's funny because I think she was clued. She was in the crossword the other day referring to the character she plays, who's Dee Reynolds. So now we're cluing the actress herself. Okay. Oh, gospel. Preacher's Preaching is the gospel. Okay, I didn't see that for some reason. But there we go. It was Gina Rollins after all. And feel like gurs to seethe. Chronomechanophiles. Like what? And Ninja Turtles abode is a swamp. Do they live in a swamp? What about this? Periphery. The edge. Sort of perimeter, periphery, edge. TV girl with the catchphrase, swiper, no swiping. Okay. Never actually seen Dora the Explorer, but I do know, that I have heard this said. Is from, why do I know that? Maybe I have heard that actual phrase being said because I think it's in my brain somewhere for some reason or another. Maybe I saw a clip on YouTube or something. Emulate the Cheshire Cat is to grin. The Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland famously grinned. And stretched out, eked out, maybe? Like, what is this one? Goosebump inducing is eerie, and palatial is grand. Stretched out, what is this? Maybe it is eked out. Oh, sewer. Oh, right, Ninja Turtles abode. They live in the sewer, right? That makes sense. Because they live in the city, right? Not, yeah. Okay, there we go. And gunpowder holder is a keg. Keg of gunpowder, whoops. Oh, like clockwork, right. So, this was wrong. I should have been more skeptical of my own lack of knowledge about this shelves for knickknacks bit. So, lots of misentry today. So, chronomechanophiles, like clockwork, there we go. And of course, like clockwork is itself a phrase. So, whatnots, maybe? I guess that's kind of the same idea as what's its, but just a slightly different word. So, how am I going to get this? Oh, Link is a character from the Mod Squad. How do I know that? I've never seen an episode of the Mod Squad, but strangely enough, I recognize that now that I see it. Again, I must have seen a clip or something or read something at some point in my life. Anyway, Anne Rule must be the true crime writer. That doesn't ring a bell, but there we go. No, okay. I'll edit this out if it takes ages, which it might. So I'm just going to run through this crossword and figure out what I got wrong. Sorry, let me just do that quickly. Company is in a corporation, a chief operating officer. Okay, there we go. That was it. Okay, I'm going to edit out. Well, I guess by now you'll already know that I've edited out the bit where I scanned through the entire puzzle just to get to the very end to find my mistake. Okay, so schnauzes, snoot, snouse. Okay, I had a lot of misentry in this puzzle, both in cases where I just sort of preemptively entered something and it was irrelevant, like putting an S at the end of Army Life, or the thing that became Army Life, or in this case, entering something that I think is a equally correct answer for the purpose of this clue. Schnauzes could have been snouts, but was incorrect for company's second in command, usually for chief operating officer. Anyway, be very wary of that. This was certainly a cautionary tale of a solve, but we did it, and what a great puzzle, a great theme, fan club. As is often the case with a Sunday puzzle, we don't have a revealer. In other words, we don't have a clue that explains what's going on with the theme in this puzzle because the title of the puzzle essentially serves as that, or at least maybe not so much a revealer, but as the connecting thematic element. So we have assembled a number of fan clubs here in the puzzle. Geometrophiles love triangles. Imagophiles love, prize drawing. Gastrophiles fancy restaurants. Dextropodophiles get off on the right foot. Autotumulophiles dig their own grave. Orophiles go for the gold. And finally, chronomechanophiles like clockwork. This was great. Really enjoyed this. Very clever. And how many of these did we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 very well constructed theme answers with some completely ridiculous words as our clues, but ones where, more often than not, you can sort of use bits of the clue in order to understand what kind of subject matter we're looking for the most part. So very well constructed by Joe Dini. I thought this was great. Very good. Really enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. And I hope you had fewer, wrong-footed moments than I did, speaking of feet. Putting all sorts of arbitrary things into the grid. So, and actually, I don't think there were any corrections from yesterday's puzzle that I saw that needed immediate addressing. And as a Sunday puzzle, it's a long puzzle. I'm going to take the opportunity to declare this the end of the video. So there we have it. It was, I think, a great Sunday-themed puzzle. Hope you enjoyed it as well. And I'll be back tomorrow for the much shorter, simpler, but also themed Monday puzzle. So join me then. Until that point, please do have an excellent remainder of your Sunday. Take care.